Hi guys, how are you? I'm talking to you here from St. Anne, and I have Anne here with me, my co-partner.
Hi everyone.
And we're here in St. Anne, Jamaica, the lush parish of Jamaica. Hope you all are doing well. You know, we've been bringing you this series about cooking in Jamaica just so that you can stay connected with us, etc. And I hope you've been enjoying it. In fact, we know you've been enjoying it because we've been getting all the feedback. So we thank you for that. We're having as much fun reading about your comments and all of that as we are doing these videos, aren't we?
Yes, for sure.
Great. So what are we doing today, Anne?
Talking about cookbooks, I think in one of the videos, I think video number 1, we mentioned that we love collecting cookbooks, especially about Jamaica. So today we thought I would share with you some of our favorite cookbooks, and I'm going to let Janet start.
Sure, my pleasure. So I am starting off today with a cookbook called The Real Taste of Jamaica. So you know you're in for the real stuff, right? And this cookbook is by Enid Donaldson. Now Enid Donaldson was a famous Jamaican chef, restaurateur, did a lot of culinary trade shows locally and overseas, really excellent. And apart from all of that, I have a special fondness of Enid because she was a great family friend. And so we actually called her Aunt Enid, and this book was actually autographed by Aunt Enid and presented to Anne many birthdays ago. So this is really one of my favorite cookbooks because, as it says, it's a real taste of Jamaica, and she has a lot of the traditional Jamaican dishes in there, and her recipes are really very simple, very easy to follow. So you have the traditional staples like the curry chicken that we mentioned in some of our videos, and some of the others we mentioned like the oxtail, the stew peas, escovitch fish, all of those you find in here. She also does some great desserts, including Anne's favorite, the Christmas pudding, the Jamaican Christmas pudding, and so on. The one I'm going to share with you today actually is a very simple one, and actually a staple in the Jamaican diet, especially for breakfasts. This is a beautiful page. I hope you can see it well. So what we actually have on this page, on the right hand side at the bottom of the page, we have the ackee and saltfish, which is our national dish. I'm sure you've heard about it. And it's served here with avocado pear, and here's the famous Scotch bonnet pepper at the bottom.
Heard a lot about that.
Yes, you've heard a lot about that. And up at the top, these are our Johnny cakes. Now, where does the phrase Johnny cake come from? Well, Johnny cake actually we think is a corruption of the phrase journey cake. And this dates back to the sugar plantation era, when the plantation masters would have gone on long journeys, and so the enslaved would have prepared something for them to take to sustain them along the journey. And this was journey cakes, which were nice, lightish, but still enough to fill you. So what's the journey cake, or now known as the Johnny cake, made of? It's a simple dough, literally flour, water, a little bit of salt, and a rising agent, okay? And you need all of that together. Make a nice dough, and then you fry it. It's almost like deep fry, yes, so I know it's a lot of oil, so not the healthiest thing, but it's kind of worth it when you taste it. So you fry that until you notice it's nice and golden brown on all sides. So you have to keep turning it in the frying pan so you get that nice golden brown. And then when you finish, if you have the right consistency, you're going to open them up, and absolutely divine. You can actually see the steam rising up out of them. Best if had hot. I wouldn't recommend you have them cold. Definitely have them hot. And what do you pair it with? Of course, you pair it with your ackee and saltfish, but you can pair it with any kind of traditional Jamaican
Liver and dumplings.
Liver and Annie's mentioning dumplings, so I should have told you that the alternative name for this is fried dumplings, because that's exactly what they are, fried dumplings.
Fish.
Pair it with any type of fish, and it's excellent. Turns up on the Jamaican breakfast table all the time, and particularly on Sunday morning. So that's something that you can try easily at home, because I haven't mentioned any ingredients that you don't have. So try it at home, tell us how it is, you know, and even if you don't want to pair it with anything like fish or so on, perfect with just a dab of butter.
Or jelly or whatever you might
Yes,
have.
yeah, jelly or like some pepper, put some pepper jelly, whatever. But that's your fried dumpling or your Johnny cakes. Try it and tell us what you like. All right. And what are you going to share with us?
All right, so the cookbook that I chose is called Sweet Runnings. Don't confuse it with the movie Cool Runnings about the,
That's a very nice movie,
yes,
though, by the way.
it is a good movie. But Sweet Runnings, and the subtitle is Jamaican Recipes Galore. And this is by somebody called Pamela Powell. So I know her a little bit. And why I chose this cookbook is because Pam Powell was a culinary judge in our annual festival. So Jamaica is very serious about preserving our heritage. And every year, round about the summer, late summer, we have competitions all around Jamaica at looking at different aspects of our culture. So there's a dance competition, a singing, a musical competition, a choir competition, and there's also a culinary competition. And the culinary gets a lot of attention because this is how we find out old recipes which are peculiar to particular parts of Jamaica and so on. And it's very important for us to preserve these. We don't want them to die with people. So Pam Powell is one of the several judges who will actually look at the and taste, of course, various contributions, and then it will all culminate in a big annual festival. So you have the amateurs and you have the hotels and so on participating, all great fun and a way of preserving our culture. And as you, in this book, she has a great combination of traditional recipes like stew peas, curry goat, things with rice and peas, the things that we eat all the time. But then you'll also see some unusual, so I'm looking at this, for example, maroon cuisine. So we know that the Maroons were runaway enslaved Africans, and they have their own cuisine, which we've been to Maroon country, and we know that they have some dishes that the rest of us don't know. So it's very interesting that she has actually a Maroon section. Then she has a recipe for potato cashew balls. So this is, you know, the creativity of the Jamaican people coming up with the potato and then pairing it with cashew nuts, which actually we do grow in Jamaica as well. Then she has in a section called Spice It Up, pickled pepper. And by now, you know, we like pepper. So pickled pepper, Jan spoke in the previous video about escovitch. So pickled pepper is something you might actually do on the escovitch. And one more I just wanted to point out to you is the wine, papaya wine. And she has a whole section on wines because people are so creative with wines. They have potato wine, cashew wine, Guinea wine, yam wine. So what I really love about this book is that it's about our culture, and in it she talks about the different aspects, the Maroon, the Chinese, the Indian, because our motto is out of many one people. So when you taste Jamaican food, you are having a fusion. All right.
We have a really mixed heritage. So when we talk about a melting pot, that's really typical of Jamaica.
Yes.
You have another one there, do you?
Sure. So I want to talk about my favorite beverage, which, and not wrong, is Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee.
Not joking.
So if you have heard about, if you haven't heard about Blue Mountain Coffee, something is wrong. Right? No, we obviously did a bad job. It's actually one of the best coffees in the world, and it's grown high in the Blue Mountains. The elevation and the soil are said to create a coffee that is particularly unique. I think some Starbucks actually have our coffee. So this author, Norma Bengiat, actually, and I'm so proud she autographed my book, actually wrote this book in Ode to Coffee, and she talks about the tradition of Jamaican coffees. So when she starts off, she says, you know, at first we didn't really drink coffee, and we were reminiscing the other day that, you know, there was a point up until fairly recently in Jamaica where we didn't even have coffee shops. Now it's hard for you to go a couple of miles without having a coffee shop. So she was ahead of her time. But in this, she gives us the history of coffee, where you get the best coffee, how it's grown, how it's cultivated. She talks about coffee estates and so on. So it's a history book as well, and a cultural book, as well as, of course, it's a recipe book, and that's what we're talking about. So a few I wanted to just highlight for you. Cafe Jamaica. And she says about Cafe Jamaica, this recipe is from the villages and countryside near to the coffee growing areas. And it's a very basic recipe because it has in it, of course, coffee, and another thing that we use in almost every dish or beverage, coconut cream. So that gives it a very unique flavor. And then the other thing I wanted to highlight in this great coffee book is Tia Maria liqueur recipes. So Tia Maria means Auntie Mary or Auntie Maria, but it's actually, what it really means is a coffee liqueur, which is a Jamaican coffee liqueur, another family recipe. And in it she talks about, she has things like Black Maria, Jamaica Wonder, Tia Black Pearl, and my favorite called Jamaica Cow, which is 1 part of Tia Maria and 2 parts of milk. So you Jamaica Cow. I actually know it as brown cow.
I know it.
But I see her talking about it as Jamaica Cow. So I guess it can be called that as well. So the equivalent would be, and I hate to mention their name, but just so you can understand, would be like Kalua, but it's not really an equivalent because Tia Maria is better. So this is my second of everything. So this is my second book that I wanted to mention. All right. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll pick up from there, and I'm going to tell you about another favorite, and this is Belcour. No, the author of this book, Robin Ling Lumsden, she actually has mixed heritage. We just mentioned that many Jamaicans do. So she has Jamaican, French, and Chinese heritage. And so the recipes in this book are like an amalgamation of all those different influences. So grandma's recipes, godparents' recipes, and so on from different sides of the family and lineage. Now, Belcour, I should say, they have a property up in the hills, and we were talking about Blue Mountain. So it's surrounded by the Blue Mountains, and it's a huge property, and the property home is reflects the French part of their heritage, which is Belcour, which means literally beautiful, beautiful courtyard. Yes. So in this, she has recipes, as I said, from the family, but also recipes that reflect all the cooking and the cuisine they've done to entertain family and friends over 20 years.
Jamaicans love to entertain.
We love to entertain. And it's like over 150 recipes that she has in this book. And many of them traditional, but with a lot of quirks and mixes. And what they've done on the property also is that they grow a lot of fruit and veg and so on. And this led them to create eventually a line of jams, jellies, pepper sauces, and so on. We mentioned a couple of them to you the other day, the honey mustard, pepper sauce, etc. They also have bees, so they produce honey.
And she made a point, I think, that the honey, they have so many different plants, so the honeys are very flavored by whatever they have growing in the garden. So and so gourmet honeys, I guess.
Right. So what they found was that with a lot of the sauces, just adding a bit of honey at the end really gave it a nice infusion. So my favorite recipe in this book is a recipe for pork chops, which includes bear. So this is Jim Batchelor's pork chop with bear, which is actually her dad's adaptation of his grandmother's stew pork and eggs recipe. Don't ask.
So yeah, I want to know how we get from stew pork and eggs to pork chop with bear.
But what I can tell you is that this thing is fabulous. So, and first of all, let me just big up my business partner. I'm not going to call her name. She knows who she is, but she's the one who introduced me to this particular recipe. Because we've had this book for a long time, but you see how big it is. So haven't had a chance to make our way through it. And she flagged this one for me, and I've fallen totally in love with it. It's really good. So basically what you're doing is you're taking the pork chops and you're making a marinade with soy sauce, the bear, and a bit of scallion, and you marinate it, chill it for about 30 minutes, it says, longer if you want. Then you are sauteing the chops for a bit, removing them from the oil, and then you add other marinade ingredients, which would include your scallion, or you might know it as green onions, some brown sugar, and of course the honey mustard pepper sauce by Belcour. But they do point out if you don't have the pepper sauce, you can use some Scotch bonnet pepper, finely diced. And you put it back in, bring it to a nice, bring it to medium heat really, and then you take it down and you leave that to simmer. You add more beer, that's my favorite part, and leave that to simmer and for about an hour, just turning it every few minutes. And when it comes out,
So you said which type of beer we have to use?
oh, I'm sorry. You have to use red stripe beer, of course.
And luckily, Red Stripe beer, which is I don't know if you guessed, it's a Jamaican beer.
It's a Jamaican
and
beer.
it's said to be the coolest beer. But luckily, you can actually get Red Stripe quite
Everywhere,
readily.
yeah.
You can look. We keep on bigging up our Jamaican and West Indian stores because there are quite a few, so you certainly get it there. But also look around. You might see it in a local supermarket because it is a popular beer.
Yeah, you use about 1 to 2 cans, it says, or bottles, and it's great. So this is Belcour, another favorite. And I mean, we could go on and on. We have a ton of recipe books, but we're gonna stop there for now. We're gonna say over and out. And as always, before parting, we entreat you, we urge you to stay safe, stay well. And there's a new Jamaican saying, well, it's not really new, it's an old Jamaican saying, but the health authorities have started to use it now in relation to COVID-19, just reminding us, you know, about safety and protecting ourselves. And it is kind of your yard, which means, and stay home. So guys, we're preserving life and health, so turn on your yard. Until we see you next time.
God bless and take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye.